How long have you owned this place?
We just had our 8th year anniversary like 3 or 4 days ago.
Huh.
Yeah, 8 years.
What?
8 long years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Four
well.
score and 8 years
Yeah.
ago. Now you just have 4 score left. That's exciting.
I didn't have completely gray hair back then. It's been so long.
Oh, man.
I usually blame that on significant others.
Yeah, that's true.
Less than work.
I went back and looked at a article recently that I wrote for Leo, like in 2019, and one of the first ones I did was on homebrewing in Louisville.
I remember that.
And I have a picture of you, and like your hair was gray, but not like
As gray as it is now. Yeah, it was still hanging on back in 2017 or whatever.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
not anymore.
My beard is officially like eating the mic.
Awesome.
Yeah. How does Pearl Jam do this? I don't get it.
That's why he sounds like that. It's like,
So I'm gonna have to like stay back.
Rest in peace.
wait.
No.
Oh, I was like, what?
Okay, with the history that this podcast has of like predicting things by
yeah.
like a week or two,
Yeah.
that's.
Okay, Eddie, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh no, you named which one it was gonna be.
In my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Kentucky Commons Radio Hour. I am Michael Moeller, joined tonight, all reunited once again, John Renane,
Hello.
David Satterley. We're all at Brewgrass Homebrew Supply here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's been well over a month probably since we've last been together. And we also joined tonight by Jeff Faith of Fehr's Beer and also builder of airplanes, musician, Big Lebowski fan, likes boats, motorcycles. Now he's into bees. Jeff, thanks for coming on.
I'm not quite into bees yet. I'm reading a lot.
He's bee curious.
I'm reading a lot, and I noticed it at a gig the other day. I kept staring at the bees in the clover, just watching.
It is fascinating. There's like
is.
some good TikTok channels out there about like bees and stuff like that.
There are also bees in the trap.
And I mentioned TikTok, guys. We are on TikTok now, much to my own chagrin, but we've been posting up our clips there, and it's actually been a fun little community to be engaged in. So if you're on TikTok, you can find our podcast there, KY Commons.
Yeah, KY Commons, and then YouTube as well, Louisville Ill Trail. Like, subscribe, listen, share, rate, do all those things. Leave a comment. Basically, just give us the attention that we think that we deserve. And then also, Jeff, we're gonna learn a little bit about you, obviously, but we're gonna start the show the same way we always start the show by sharing a beer with the guest. And because I did this last week while David was gone, but now that David's back, I wanted to bring back some beer from Fort Collins. Just did a little visit there in Colorado. So, David, why don't you check out that can there and tell me what you see?
Horse and Dragon Brewing Company, from our home to yours. This is the Cool Cricket. It is a watermelon lime Kolsch, which is an interesting thing to do to adjunct to Kolsch.
I mean, I'm not mad at it.
Watermelon lime sounds great. The can is pretty cool. It looks like a little watermelon. It's got little seeds in it, pink. The House of Dragon really doesn't fit into this can very well, but I do like the House of Dragon logo. Oh, Horse and Dragon. Interesting.
Don't say that. We'll get sued.
Yeah, true.
Not House of Dragon.
Not House.
That
Horse
was in
and
Minecraft.
Dragon. But there is a horse like up on its hind legs with the dragon just completely encompassing it, like kind of like the dragon from Dragon Ball Z. Not really like a winged dragon. Anyways, I'll open this up.
Yeah.
That was a really fun tap room. If you ever go to Fort Collins, obviously do the cool things like Odell and New Belgium and Purpose, who's been on the show before. But cool.
Son of a bitch.
The horse and dragon. Great tap room. It looks very homey, lived in. I love those type of tap rooms that they like if they have like cool stuff all over the wall that really share who they are in the community. That's the kind of thing I always like to see. It's better than, just like a sterile tap room essentially. So let's try this one. I thought so much of it at the time that I wanted to get a can of it, but I was also having a fun little brew hopping tour day at the time. So maybe this isn't as good as I remember it, but either way,
I hope we got the like gin and juice sound in the pour, because I realized I poured one like not obnoxiously, and then John started complaining.
It was pretty obnoxious. Yeah. The watermelon aroma is fantastic.
It's strong watermelon.
The name reminds me of Men in Black.
Oh, the little cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Cool cricket.
Yeah, 100%.
Noisy cricket.
Noisy
Yeah.
cricket,
Yeah.
that's right. Old and busted, Kolsch. New hotness, cool cricket. Watermelon lime.
I don't think this is a combo I've ever had before.
I don't think I've ever had watermelon lime.
Me neither. Up until
I'm not mad at that at all.
It's like sweet, but it has the lime zesty deal in it.
And you don't see watermelon beers that much. I mean, here in Louisville, like Leah had made, that was one of the things she first got famous for, is that watermelon crack beer that she does, which I think is a watermelon blonde or whatever.
and watermelon goza,
Uh-huh.
Akasha, and then also watermelon goza at Atrium,
And then shout out to Atlantucky. They do that they originally did it with Against the Grain, their watermelon chicken and grits beer that they're bringing back into the market allegedly. So look out for that around. We might be having those guys on at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great. Thank you.
not bad. So Jeff, from just a high level, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got into beer and this world.
Man, that's a great question. How did I get into beer? I have no idea. I remember 20 years ago, a friend of mine was moving and he's like, hey, dude, take some of this beer out of my fridge. My dad and I made it. And I opened it up and it was absolutely horrible. I was like, just shocked at how bad it was. And I think it was me. I didn't understand. I'd been drinking American lagers and
Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. No clue. Fast forward, I don't know, somehow again, I probably read something. I started reading something, kind of like this bee thing. I read something and I kept reading and it's like all of a sudden I was like, I met Paul, and I knew about the homebrew store. I met Paul at the dog park.
Nice.
Like, hey, so I'm like, hey, there's a guy I know. And of course, my wife's like, well, if you're going to make beer, you should go talk to Paul. And I said, I really don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to make the first batch and see if it sucks or not.
Classic homebrewer.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't.
I love that kind of home brewer because the opposite is the person who will just overthink it and overthink it and overthink it and want to get it perfect. But the right move is just to do it.
And I just used a dry malt extract and made something really simple. And I was like, wow, it's beer, and it wasn't horrible. It didn't have big flavor, but it worked. The first try, it worked. And then I like real quick, I mean, it didn't take a couple of batches and all of a sudden I converted a cooler. I was doing all grain and I just read about styles and I've still got this little journal that my wife gave me, but I would sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make a pail. What should that be? And I would write down a recipe and I didn't have an app. I didn't, I just read stuff and was like, well, let's try this. And I would brew it and just make adjustments. But most of the time they came out pretty good, and I kept it simple. And it just walking in the homebrew store, I have flashbacks of coming in to get malts and seeing guys come in and get like 12 different malts.
Yeah, 100%. Like, why is there 0.6 ounces of biscuit in this?
What do you think this is going to do? I'm not, and maybe I kept it too simple, but it was just simple. But yeah, I started making recipes. Actually, 2013, I got 3 ribbons in the state fair, which was really cool. And then the next year I got a first place ribbon for my porter. That was awesome. It just kind of fell into the beer thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was just fun.
And this is probably over 10 years ago. You said 2013. I guess, so
2013 was when I got my first ribbon. So yeah, it was 12 years ago or so that I started brewing. Yeah. And that first batch, I made it at home on the stove and ran my wife out of, like, she literally went to the bedroom, closed the door, and she's like, oh my God, that stinks. It's the worst thing I've ever smelled. And it was the hops that bothered her. Now she's a hophead.
There you go.
Which is hilarious.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk to you tonight about Fehr's, and that's kind of what I call a legacy beer brand here in Louisville. Pre-prohibition was one of the biggest breweries in town, and then much like most breweries during prohibition, they kind of just faded away for a second. Fehr's came back, was resilient, had some other side businesses until they kind of withered away in the 1960s or so, and then eventually was brought back.
Yeah, in 1964, they actually they filed bankruptcy and dumped all the beer down the sewer just to so they didn't have to pay taxes on it.
I bet that beer ended up in the back of somebody's like
right.
barn or
it
something.
makes you wonder.
Yeah.
But then is it Shaneling Brewery? Is that how you pronounce it? Up in Cincinnati, they picked up the rights and they brewed XL and the Kentucky malt liquor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for
We need to bring that back
right,
immediately.
right.
Screw Old English.
Right. But yeah, they picked that up and brewed it up into the 70s. And it just kind of disappeared. Although I found out a little later, I found a can, always looking for memorabilia, but I found a can with a barcode and it was like, whoa, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense because I don't know of this stuff existing in the time of barcodes. And my kid called me one day and he's like, man, I was watching Uncle Buck and they're drinking Fehr's beer.
Oh, well, really? I didn't know that.
And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? So I go rent Uncle Buck, and I'll go through, and I'm like, dude, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, there's a scene in the park and all the kids are drinking Fehr's.
That's awesome.
And then I'd heard that the brewery in Cincinnati they were having hard times in the 80s and they owned the rights. They probably brewed a few batches just trying to get something to catch on and make a buck. But yeah, they ended up in the movie. That's cool, kind of cool. So, and then from there, it kind of disappeared.
So this pre-prohibition brand in Louisville, you now own the rights to it.
Yeah.
What was the draw? What resonated with you with this brand where you were like, I'd like to continue this legacy? Because I mean, we talked a little bit about your history, but the history of Frank Fehr, ice, right?
Mm-hmm. He was the one who it was the first commercial ice.
Well, yeah, and that was after he had been brewing. I mean, he actually came over from, is it Alsace? Is that how you say it? It was sometimes France, sometimes Germany. But he came over, was brewing in Chicago, and then down in Madison, Indiana for a while. There was a brewery there, and then he came here in the 1860s, 1860s, and worked for the Otto Brewery, which he bought from Otto and became the Frank Fehr Brewery. But yeah, in the 1890s, Fehr's had the first commercial ice refrigeration unit, and they supplied ice to everybody in town.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
And you explained the logo to me before, but I think if in the inside of the Fehr's logo, which is all, I can understand why you were attracted to the brand because it's just like goddamn iconic. It looks like the beer like your grandfather would have drank or whatnot. But
it
yeah,
actually says that on the back of the can.
Does it really?
Yeah.
All right.
The beer your grandparents drank. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Well, it's true. And you have like the king. That's the German King Gambinus, who is kind of like
exactly. And handing a beer to
like Lady Liberty kind of, right?
Yeah. Like it's pretty pretentious, honestly. Here, America, here's your beer.
This was before pretense.
This is awesome.
Yeah, that's like a very postmodern or like whatever. They were more innocent back then, and they appreciated the symbolism. But I think it's super cool. Yeah, so it's like King Gambinus all dressed up in his like Germanic, like Holy Roman get up, handing a very like iconic Lady Liberty a big old pint of good German beer. So bringing the German beer to the Americans.
Yeah, and there are eagles on the side of the, and
some Illuminati shit probably. In there
absolutely, I'm sure. Yeah.
So the Illuminati is what drew you to Fehr.
Well, there's a secret club, No, the Fehr's thing was, in all honesty, I was just like, is there a brand that you could get hold of and bring back and just make it like it used to be and make it in Louisville? I don't know. I've always been here. I mean, I was actually born just about a block away when there used to be a hospital down here next to White Castle.
The old St. Joe's?
St. Joe's. So I've always been like right here. I do love history. I love the city. And I think it's cool to be part of having this back, just making it exist. And, did some research. I think we were talking about it earlier. Conrad Selly's book had a lot. They translated some German newspapers from the 1880s and had the basis for the lager recipe in that book.
That's classic Conrad Selly, by the way.
Oh yeah, and Conrad. Yeah, once he found out I owned the brand, of course he called me and talked forever, which is great. It was nice to talk to Conrad, but we didn't really know each other. I just get a random phone call. Hey, this is Conrad Selly. I hear you have Fehrs. What are you making? And we started talking, and then he turned me on to a brewing book from 1913. He's like, you got to read this. This is what they were doing at the time, and that influenced some more recipes, which is really cool. But I feel like we're really close to what this was in the 1880s, 1890s.
Yeah, and your first beer was better than that beer that your buddy gave you, so you know how to make beer.
That first beer, my friend, he probably made a good beer. I just was a horrible judge of beer at that point in my life.
So you had found this old brand that you were just kind of attracted to. You had a basis in home brewing, and kind of with the resources that you were able to find and talk to Conrad about. You want one, Mike?
Yes, please.
All right. You kind of just did you kind of start to reconstruct the recipe just as a home brewer, kind of what you thought it should be, and do test batches? And
so I work on airplanes for a day job. I mean, I'm not in the
oh,
brewing
we're going to talk
business.
about that because
but I've worked on airplanes for 30 years, and I actually brewed the first 5 gallons of this in the hangar, and I had buckets setting in other buckets of ice water in my office, fermenting and lagering. So I made the first 5 gallons in my office, and then I started sharing it with like Joel from BBC, and like I just kind of people I knew that were around and in the industry, and like, hey man, check out this beer.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, dude, what is that? Like, it's Fehr's, and they're and then the question was, hey, how'd you get a recipe? And I told him, I'm like, dude, it's in Conrad's book. It's laying in your tap room. Everybody has this,
Like, I'm not reading that thing. Are you crazy?
But yeah, I made the first 5 gallons and just started sharing it with friends, and then once I owned the brand, then it was like, what do I do? How do I do this? I have a day job.
We're gonna need a bigger hangar.
Right. Can I put a fermenter in the hangar? That'd be awesome.
Also, there's a joke about drinking on planes in there somewhere.
Right. But I started looking for places to brew. Actually, I mean, I was looking at buildings where Shop Bar is now.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that building. There's an old gas station down by Denny's, down by High Horse, that old gas station.
That place is cool.
And I was just looking for something kind of small, and I love the idea of what Apocalypse was doing, just open on the weekends. And I thought maybe I could pull that off, make enough beer, make 1 barrel of batches or something like that. And I actually welded up a brew stand, a 1 barrel, system, pumps and 2 burners. And it's down at Akasha now. They use it for all the small batch stuff. But, I was kind of prepping, hey, looking for the spot. And then I met Rick at Akasha, and I talked him into, I kind of forced it on him, but I talked him into working with me to make it bigger. So, I think I didn't have to brew. I enjoy brewing, but, like I said, I have a day job. So,
and like I would just say, to describe this beer to people who have maybe not tried it, it's an American lager, but it's different than what you might think of as an American lager because you kind of designed it in accordance with that pre-prohibition style. So it's got a little bit more of that hop character that they needed back then to help preserve it. It's a little bit less refined in the lagering. It doesn't, in Beano or no Beano, this is a no Beano for like followers of the show. You know what I'm talking about? They put those enzymes in there to break down all the carbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just say no.
So, right. So, I mean, it's funny. One of the old things was, the malt that they had back then that was easy to get was 6-row. So we're using 6-row barley and rice, which was, later people were like, oh no, you can't use that stuff. But there's a lot of rice and corn in beer now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 6-row barley and rice. It's really simple, but there's more proteins in the 6-row. Lagering takes longer. And this stuff's in the tank for 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, it takes forever.
Is the XL from extra long?
I've always wondered that.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not aged on wood now, but Frank Fehr, they used to throw wood in,
Nice.
like that other Beechwood aged beer you've heard about.
What? No.
And they had rice too. That's weird, huh?
King of the Commons.
Right.
Just to put into perspective of how big this brewery was pre-prohibition, I mean, they had a large distribution footprint, right?
They sold beer all the way to California.
Wow.
Yeah.
All across the South. Frank Fehr actually built a brewery in Louisiana, and I think that was to support everything going west.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And he was also friends, maybe rather just through business partnerships. It was like a commerce club or something with Brown Foreman.
The Central Consumers Group.
Yes.
And that was Phoenix Brewery. Fehr's.
Maybe like Fall City down there.
Well, so Fall City was not in that group.
Ertles.
Oh, they were like the odd man out. Ertles, yeah.
Yeah, Ertles, that's what I was trying to think of. But yeah, they kind of all work together. And it's maybe weird, but I've actually seen a I think they were sharing distribution. They were, they kind of owned all the bars in town.
Mhm.
So it was only their beer being sold in Louisville. They controlled everything. When Fall City came along in 1905, right?
Sounds right.
They were having trouble selling their beer because, the Central Consumers Group owned all the bars.
I'm picturing Gangs of New York for some reason.
Right. And it's funny in Conrad's book, there's a lot of photos of different beers, but it seemed like there was a photo of a beer with a Phoenix Brewery label maybe, but it's got an embossed Fehr's bottle,
Huh.
which is kind of, because they were probably all, sharing stuff. It's pretty cool.
If we only had one brewery in Louisville, I would pass away.
Yeah.
Or I just probably wouldn't like beer anymore.
One brewery and one distillery.
Yeah.
Think about how many breweries there were, but the turn of the century, 80, 100 breweries.
Yeah.
Most of them made commons.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about your Kentucky Common recipe too, because that's another one that you kind of do. Because Fehr has also made a Kentucky Common.
Absolutely. They called it Fehr's Cheer. Cheer, yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And I would say, of all the Kentucky Commons that I have had over my many years, yours is one of my favorite. It's a little bit darker than some of them tend to be, but it's just very crisp and dry, like kind of like Schwarzbier vibes or whatnot.
You guys want to fight over whether it's supposed to be sour or not?
No. I mean,
I don't.
There's a recorded podcast, and you're on it.
We've already done this.
Yeah,
it's so funny. No, so I based the recipe, the common recipe. I mean, obviously Conrad Selly's book talks about the commons, and they looked at old stuff, but Conrad turned me on to that book, the American Handy Book of Brewing, Malting, and Auxiliary Trades from 1913, and there they describe the Kentucky Common. And that's right in the middle of it. That's reading the history.
yeah.
They describe how they made it. They describe everything about it. And it's like, I based my recipe off of reading that book. It's the only thing that I went for was, since Fehr's used 6-row, I was kind of like, Frank Fehr probably was buying a lot of 6-row.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he use anything else but 6-row in his common? So it's 6-row and corn.
And the real only difference between 2-row and 6-row, I guess it's a little bit different now than it was historically. But 6-row barley just grows on a stalk just like any kind of a long grass, and 2-row just puts up 2 little rows of kernels or seeds up the side, kind of like a 4-leaf clover. I guess there's a genetic modification, or there's a genetic anomaly that can occur in some of those plants where instead of 3 leaves on a clover, it pops out that 4th leaf, so it's kind of like a mutant. But 6-row is those little freaky 2-row barleys that would grow back in the day. And just because of the Fibonacci or whatever, that 2 would split into 6 in the mutant strain. And then they cultivated those mutants to make a whole new variety that has a lot more protein, a lot more sugars per, capita.
But I think 2-row still has more sugar than 6-row for more fermentables.
Yeah. So my understanding was that the 6-row, because it was more concentrated, the enzymes were more concentrated too. So it was much easier to get full conversion on it.
Right.
Whereas the 2-row would be a little bit more barley flavored or something. The 6-row would just rip clean, and that's why it was used commonly by distillers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's my understanding anyway.
Well, and what I understood was back then was just availability. Upper Midwest, the 6-row grew well; they could get it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, 6 has got to be better than 2.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just math.
Yeah,
Isn't one actually just used for moonshine more than the other?
6-row is more common, more commonly used in distilling, because it was easier to get it to convert fully, to convert those
enzymes and everything. Yeah,
it's funny. I'd heard that common beer was kind of an inverse recipe to whiskey.
Sort of.
Because it's kind of what they had around here. Yeah.
But who knows? It shares some ingredients for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
It's and it's what we have. Let's all be proud of the Kentucky Common.
I mean,
if you want to learn more, there is a podcast. Scroll down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Back to October, November of last year. And it should be up there.
Frank Fehr was a nice German fellow. He had a great product. Underberg is a German product, and it's also great. So let's take a quick little Berg break here, as we've been sipping some beers. And David, why don't you tell us a little bit about Underberg?
Underberg. First of all, first fact, I haven't had one in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And that's
honestly, you're still alive?
I barely, but
Poppy's a quart low. He needs to berg up.
Well, this is a beverage that's been enjoyed for over 175 years, so it's okay that you've gone 2 weeks without taking one.
There's been 5 generations of Underberg, and 2 weeks seems minimal.
Yeah, I mean they first got to market in like 1846 after many years of careful development, trying to hone in on their recipe. And fun fact for you all: did you know, listeners, that Underberg is barrel aged?
Yeah.
It's aged in Slovakian oak.
You know, I would, if I was going to put money on it, there's no way we can actually ever prove this, of course, but I bet Frank Fehr drank Underberg.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
The timing, it kind of
Those
works.
long nights in the brewery, like you just need something to settle your digestion before you like have your like greasy bacon and eggs, whatever they ate in like the 1860s breakfast.
Hey, that's what I had Saturday.
You are a man of the 1860s, indeed. I am
a time traveler, if you will.
Yeah.
We're about to take this burg right now, but if you've never had one before, or if you haven't had one in 2 weeks like David, be sure to ask a bartender for an Underberg next time you come. And if they don't have it, encourage them to get it.
And I will say Akasha here in Louisville is very famous for their excellent presence of the Bergs, and it's the place where you can try this Fehr's beer we're talking about too. So cheers.
Oh,
I was trying to get that glug, glug, glug on the mic. I'm not sure if that worked.
2 weeks is too long. That's great.
It is.
Shout out Underberg for always being the same thing that I always wanted to be.
I think I can taste that barrel now that you mention it. Little woody.
Little woody. And this is probably the part where we normally do a show and tell, and where we ask you to bring a beverage, but we've already cracked open some of these beverages. So thank you for supplying the Fairs for us.
These are pretty fresh. I went over and canned these just for the show.
Hell yeah.
I remember this would have been in early 2019 or late 2018 when I was working at Akasha, and it was the first time that Fairs had been canned.
Yeah.
And sold out in a matter of hours.
Yeah, that was funny. That was it was a lot of work because the canning system, the canning line is very manual. And I can't remember what it was. It was something like 20 or 30 cases or so. I can't remember how many we made. It seemed like a lot of work. It seemed like a lot of beer, and it was gone quick.
But it was. I mean, there was a line out the door. I remember we had a POS system just for 6 packs to go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I also remember talking to many old men that day that came in and said, "This is just how I remember it when I was a kid."
Oh yeah. You know how many stories I've heard of, been in bars and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that can't be like the original Fairs." And like, yeah, actually it is. And these guys, I've literally seen it. I've heard it from bartenders. I've heard it from people. They're like, yeah, these old guys take a sip and they get tears and they're like, "Oh man, I used to steal this from my grandfather's fridge in the garage." And they just all remember it.
I hope that's PBR one day. Mainly because I don't love PBR.
Well, it's amazing. And I have trouble believing that anybody could go back 60 years or 50 years and say, that tastes just like that. But if the memory's there and it's pretty close, hey, that's pretty awesome. And it's cool that it reaches a few people. Yeah.
Maybe in 60 years we'll have like Butchertown Brewing Imperial gluten-free sour, and like that's what I used to steal from my parents.
I used to go down to the tavern and get a bucket of it.
You're like great grandkids. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Oh my gosh, man!
Just drink vodka like the rest of us. Jeez,
they're
Grandpa.
drinking their like moon juice at this point. So
I had a neighbor that was he was born in 1932, died a couple years ago, but he literally used to talk about taking a bucket and walking down to the brewery. And he said, I can't remember. It was a quarter for,
it was. I've always heard 2 nickels. You would go to the store with 2 nickels. The beer was 8 cents, and then the other 2 cents could get you like bubble gum and a snack.
Nice.
And they would send children.
So what my friend Norman used to get a pretzel. And he said he would walk back from the brewery the whole way, dipping the pretzel into the beer, and then he'd get home and set it on the table, and the family drank the beer. But he's like, little did they know, I've been dipping my pretzel in it all the way home.
Why is it so salty?
that was the original growler. That's what they would call like just literally like a bucket or a giant pitcher that you'd get your kid to run down to the corner, like whatever, and bring you home. Well, what was probably like a gallon or like
Depends
a couple
how much they
liters of
spill
beer
on the
yeah,
way.
Yeah, that's true.
David has touched on this before with I think maybe Fall City, but memorabilia was just so much better back then.
Yeah.
Like the brewery advertising was just so cool.
Absolutely. And my wife would say I have a problem with brewery advertising because I've collected so much stuff. I have a museum of
Are you sure that's what she was trying to tell you?
yeah, something like that. Maybe I have a problem with everything, but I have a museum of stuff, and I love when we have a fairs party and I get to bring it all out. And actually, I've got a couple of things down at the Fraser Museum, and I just got a call from them the other day. They're like, "Hey, can we renew? We want to keep this." I'm like, "Yeah, that's no big deal." But I love that. I love that people get to see it. I love that it exists, and yeah, there were so many little crazy things. Little tip trays that would spin, and they had a horse game on them.
Yeah.
They're just the memorabilia was awesome.
Clocks.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
like stuffed animals.
like the clock in my office. Yeah.
The Fairs Bear.
And just
Yeah.
beer trays. Like they made the coolest beer trays
Oh yeah.
that they're like literally like antique market now things. People hunt those things down and collect them. And
I think Spencer has a tattoo of the bear.
Yeah,
on
he's
on
a
his side.
yeah. Former brewer at Akasha has a tattoo of it. I mean, now we get keychain bottle
Made in
openers
China,
and
yeah.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
cool. I want some rail trail, but it's nothing like what we used to have available. Even just advertising in general, I feel like. I mean, yeah, some money goes into the digital space right now and social media, but I remember I bought a Fairs taxi sign from Justin Skurlock.
Oh yeah, those are
and
awesome.
and that you got. But yeah, it was literally just a giant billboard that was on top of a taxi.
Yeah. And trolley cars. Like when you're sitting down, you look up. They had the same kind of advertisements in trolley cars. There's all kinds of things out there. I mean, I've got some big giant beer bottles. It looks like it's a big glass bottle that would just sit behind the bar.
Yeah.
Chalk Fairs Bear. There's all kinds of weird stuff.
I feel like Fairs had a good run of old retro vintage TV commercials too.
They used to host, or they sponsored the news for Wave or WLKY or one of the old news channels.
Yeah,
and they had a song. It was it's always fair weather when good fellows get together.
Yeah, the song.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
And
if
that
I
was
can
a
find
drinking
a song,
song.
I'll insert it into
And they
the podcast.
all shotgunned a beer while it's fair weather.
Yeah, but it was an old drinking song. It was always fair weather. It was this old drinking song,
songs.
but it's like, hey, obviously that makes sense. And I love. I kind of think back and I'm like, it's another thing when I talk to old guys, a lot of them are like, oh yeah, Fehr's beer. I remember that. Fehr's beer. Yeah, it's always Fehr weather. No, that doesn't work. It's Fehr's beer.
Okay, so my uncle says Fears, and then he's too old for me to correct him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I never correct those guys. I mean, that's cool. That's what they remember. And
But
that's what
he
they
says
say.
it, and I'm like, it's when you say tick tick instead of TikTok. It
Right.
drives me nuts. I'm
That's
like,
why I
that's
do
not
it.
what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think I always thought that maybe the slogan was part of, hey, this is how you pronounce this. With the song, it's always fair weather.
yeah, That makes sense. Otherwise, the pun just doesn't.
It doesn't fit.
You know
Doesn't
what we
fit.
need? We need drunk news. That's the problem with the cable news industry. They're all
Drunk news. They're
they're
too
they're
sober.
probably all on pills, honestly. But we just need them there, drinking beer and
Yeah,
what's the weather today look like, Herb? It's like, I don't give a shit.
it's fair.
Sunny.
It's fair weather.
And he's just pounds of beer.
I do want songs to make a comeback though.
Yeah.
I would love to
Jingles.
see a whole Soppel or Third Turn song come out, and just a little jingle that the patrons can sing together.
Didn't Brewdog do that?
Oh, did
No.
they?
They made a music video.
Oh, I take it back. I don't want to do anything. That
If I find that video, I'm linking it.
All right, we might make a Louisville Ale Trail jingle. Is I think what we're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, you collect a lot of memorabilia. You're very passionate about a lot of things. One of the things that you're very passionate about, which I've always found endearing, is your love for a cult classic. Actually, just a classic.
Just a classic.
The Big Lebowski.
There is a cold attached to
What the
it.
fuck are you talking about?
You love the Big Lebowski. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's a cool movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that why you
I've seen
started? Is that why you started the Lebowski Fest in Louisville so many years ago?
I wasn't involved with that. That was
No?
It was Will Russell and Scott Shuffett years ago. But I hung around those guys a lot, and I maybe had a Torino. It was green with some rust coloration for a while. got a couple of sweaters, and I got a band called the Dudes that's actually playing this Friday night at the Vernon Lanes for the Achiever Fest.
At a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
A retro bowling
So-
alley at that.
You know, it's funny. You guys said I should bring along something else to talk about maybe, and I almost brought a bowling ball.
Oh, nice,
Dude.
Well,
But
I
here-
almost bought stuff to make White Russians.
Oh,
Then I was
that's
like,
awesome.
I don't want to put Jeff there.
No, that's okay. But you know, it's funny because I've got a bowling ball that just says "dude" on it, which is cool. But most recently, I got another ball that's clear with a rose in it,
Ooh, yeah.
like
Is that
Big,
the one?
Big Earn
Jesus?
McCracken,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like- which is another great bowling movie.
That was
my
that from
gosh.
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's also freaking. Funny
If you
as
ever
shit.
head down to Vernon, they do have an excellent White Russian.
Oh, I know.
Okay, yeah.
I've not had theirs yet.
I'm gonna have a couple this weekend.
David and I are in a Monday night bowling league there. It's a beer league.
What?
Yeah. And
I want to be on a bowling league.
well,
Please come.
come.
It's literally a beer league.
yeah, we could use your help. But I usually just get PBR because it's PBR sponsored and cheap. But I'll get a White Russian. That was an excellent piece of Kingpin trivia, by the way, though. Which is why I'm actually bringing up a little game for you tonight, Jeff. And
Oh no.
we're gonna do a little bit of a Big Lebowski trivia.
Ooh. All right.
And John and David, feel free to jump in.
Sure.
But I do want a final answer from all three
We'll
of
let
you.
Jeff take-
and
okay,
we'll
okay,
probably let Jeff just go with it.
Yeah,
Okay, the first question is, how many times has David seen this movie?
I've probably seen it.
Have you never seen The Big Lebowski?
I've seen it once.
Oh,
Are you serious?
One
Dude.
time.
dude? It's worth rewatching, honestly, because it's.
I just
layered.
want to preface that when I get every trivia question wrong.
So this year on my birthday, I was really excited because I saw that this is the 25th anniversary, and so they were playing it in theaters again on my birthday.
That would be cool.
So I bought some tickets, and I called a couple of friends. I'm like, "Hey, we're going to see the Big Lebowski." Of course, I didn't wear jellies, but I did wear my dude sweater, and a couple other people. My buddy showed up dressed like Walter, and
For those just listening to the podcast, not watching on YouTube, you should know that Jeff is somewhat similar looking to Jeff Bridges.
I don't know, man. With these glasses, it's more Where's Waldo.
Hey, Jeff Bridges rocks some glasses these days. We all get older.
I remember a 2019 Akasha costume party, and you came dressed as the dude, and I was dressed as the Joker. We had a nice photo
That's
together.
right. That's right.
It's very believable.
All right, so this contest, this
This little trivia game. Let's
yeah.
go for it. We'll start off kind of where most things start off at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That question is gone, but I already know the answer. Here we go. No, I found it. What is the very first spoken word in the film?
The very first spoken word, not counting the introduction, the
Narrator.
narrator?
Spoken word.
Way out west. There's this fellow I want to tell you about. Fellow by the name of Jeff Lebowski.
You could do a good Sam Elliott too. Not only a good Jeff Bridges. But
You
Sam
are
Elliott.
you are correct. The first word is indeed way.
Way.
That's awesome. This is great. I love this. All right, more.
Also, more.
This is fun.
Also, at the beginning of the movie, we see our main character there, Jeff Bridges
Yeah.
/
The
The
dude.
dude.
the dude, go to Ralph's, and he's buying some stuff, and he writes a check to pay for it. How much is the check?
69 cents.
Oh my god! I was gonna say like 214 or
And
something.
it's 9/11, 1991.
Is the date?
Or I think it's 9/11 is the date on the check.
It's more Illuminati shit.
Yeah,
ladies and
right.
gentlemen.
Isn't
yeah.
that bizarre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go
For
keep
buying
going.
milk, and he was buying
No,
milk.
no.
He
I
was
like
buying
that.
half
He was
and
buying,
half.
yeah, he was buying half and half.
Yeah.
You know what
And,
was one of the commodities traded in the World Trade Center? Milk.
Oh,
Checkmate, atheists.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna make up this
Okay.
question, but let's go. So this is a question for David.
But no.
Who was on the TV during that scene?
Johnny Carson. No, that's the best I got.
I don't know. I don't even really understand the question, to tell you the truth.
There was
There's a TV
there
on in the
was
background.
there was a news segment happening.
It's probably some what so that movie is set in like the early 90s?
Early 90s.
Who's on the TV? I don't know, Tom Brokaw or something.
George Bush.
Oh, okay. All right.
W.
This
Senior,
aggression
senior,
will
senior.
not stand, man.
All right. All right.
This aggression against Iraq.
Also, Walter is one of my favorite characters. The dude is awesome, but John Goodman is also. I mean, everybody in the movie is fucking incredible.
Walter's got all the good lines, man.
Yeah. You want to
That's true.
toe?
We were talking about our own bowling league a second ago and how much we enjoy it. We always know that it's on Monday nights, but who's in charge of scheduling the bowling league games?
You guys want to crack at this?
I have no idea.
I feel like Donnie because it's probably always fucked up, but I can't remember.
Burkhalter.
Okay.
That's true. Correct again.
never go against the king in Lebowski
This
trivia.
is so good because like you know all the answers. Like we had Gravely on and we questioned them about their own beers. No way.
No, we questioned them about their own
Song references.
song references
Yeah.
to the beers, which I don't know. Maybe he was in charge of naming the beer that day. Who knows?
No, Nick is so cool that he doesn't understand your references.
That's true.
It's true.
Too.
Yeah, Nick is cool.
Nick's very
Nick's a lot
cool.
cooler than all of us.
Yeah.
What is the? There's a German band in that movie, and okay, before we get to my actual meaty question, John or David, what was the name of the band?
That's what I was trying to think of, and I couldn't get there. But I can picture it. I just don't know the name.
Ooh, I know the name of the album.
Yeah.
Shit.
Is that the question? It's the Nihilist guys.
Yeah.
I can't fucking remember the name of it.
One of those guys is actually in a band.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Which one?
You didn't.
I didn't
No.
make that one.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Flea.
Oh, that's right.
Flea's
He is
one of the
them.
Nihilists.
God damn it! I just remembered that.
Really?
Yeah. So the main guy is the guy who was also in
Man.
Fargo. I can't remember that actor's name. The taller dude.
Peter's. Is it Peter's?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah, I
that.
can't
But then Flea is
That's
one of the
Flea?
other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does
Yeah,
an
the short
excellent
guy.
job. He's
Man.
crazy and
We
he's
cut off your Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
him?
Flea.
Shit.
God.
Maybe you
Because
stalked
like
it and
it's,
squished it.
I think of him, and when I think of his acting career, I think about Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
But man,
He's in that?
Yeah, he's in the big. And, there's another artist, Amy Mann, is in the movie too.
Man, I need to rewatch The Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, apparently. Okay, so what was the name of the album?
Nagelbet.
Yep. So this is going to be really easy for you then.
That's awesome.
What was Donnie's full name?
Theodore Donald Karabatsis.
Correct
Wow.
again.
Incredible.
I have 3 questions left, and
Come on, this is good.
I assume you're just going to get all of them. Walter will have you know that the Supreme Court has roundly rejected blank.
The Supreme Court has roundly rejected.
Come on, you guys got.
I mean, I
this.
feel like it's something about the Second Amendment, maybe.
No,
No.
no,
No.
Something about the draft,
no.
freedom of speech,
Oh, there you go. You're getting close.
shouting fire in a crowded theater. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's something he would do.
All right, go for it.
The Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint.
Ah, okay.
Correct.
Oh man, this movie is so good.
Oh, I lied. There's only one question left.
All right.
Again, I'll just go. This is for John and David first. The dude tells Maud that he was a roadie for which band?
Not CCR, certainly.
Not the fucking Eagles.
Not the fucking Eagles, certainly.
Beach Boys.
No.
That was before.
I
his
feel like
time.
it's something like that is actually not that cool.
Final answer: Green Day.
I was gonna say like Motley Crue or something.
Ooh, you're in the right vein.
That's what it feels like in my brain, but I can't remember. Like White Snake or some shit.
Van Halen.
You are in the vein, but
Not Van Halen.
Take it away, Jeff. I'm not gonna get there.
it's a Speed of Sound tour.
which doesn't
I don't
exist.
know.
by
Oh,
the way.
really? Okay. I don't know.
Are you out of questions?
Well, but you still answer it though.
Oh yeah.
Metallica.
Oh,
There
it was
you
Metallica?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't think it'd be any that big.
You guys were all around it.
Yeah. I remember it was something like in that metal vein because that was not exactly what he was into, which is kind of why it was like a weird brag, which kind of made it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been? Here's the last question. Have you ever been stumped by a Big Lebowski question before?
Me, yeah. Actually, at a Lebowski Fest years ago, they have a trivia. There's always a trivia contest. And I think I was in Chicago and I made it to the second round of trivia where they start asking questions instead of, answering it on a piece of paper. And I don't remember how far I got, but I think they asked me something like, who was the producer of the movie, and I'm like, what?
So background stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no idea. There's a lot of little weird stuff I do remember from all that. So
I've got 3 more questions.
Okay.
And I don't know the answer, so like you were going off your runtime of the movie.
see, that's one of the questions.
That's like too technical. Of a
That's the kind of
question.
stuff that they ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea.
It
Highest
feels
paid
like
actor.
about 2.5.
Say
You,
again?
you don't know the answers.
Highest paid actor.
Oh, that was probably the dude.
See, he might though.
Probably.
And then the length of the credits.
Oh, see now that. Yeah, that's getting.
Okay.
I have one final question.
I wasn't listening.
What is the ultimate theme or takeaway of the Big Lebowski? Or if that's a wrong question to ask about that movie, because I think it is, what is it about it that makes it so resonate with you? What do you love about it?
Well, here's what's funny. There's so many podcasts that like get
Try to.
in, like,
I've watched so many YouTube videos
There's-
about it.
Oh man, there's so many things. But ultimately, it's just they're buddies.
Yeah.
It's just buddies hanging out.
It's a
and,
slice
and
of
looking after
time.
each other. Yeah. And there's like, it's a film noir. It's all this dark stuff, and there's like great references. And
Well, it is a film noir.
Absolutely.
Like, they tied in
But-
all those themes.
but it's really just some buddies that get together and go bowling. Yeah,
Yeah, and they just
And
find
they stick
themselves in a
together.
predicament.
yeah. And the dude gets so fed up with Walter every scene.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, man, I'll be there. That's kind of his.
And the plot is very much, even though there is this like, so if you actually like kind of dig into it, like, the lady, the toe.
You're telling him if
she
you
had-
dig
you-
into it, he just nailed
No,
every
no.
Tristan.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is on if you were to say what the movie's about, like there are all these details. Like when they get the toe, it has the green nail polish on it. And if you had noticed, like Tara Reid earlier had, you can
Oh, yeah.
find all these like film noir, like who done it, like, but that's not what the movie's about, because at the end Donnie just dies and then the plot fizzles out.
Yeah.
There's all these layers of subtext
Spoilers.
that they clearly built in very intentionally that are completely irrelevant to what the movie's about.
Oh yeah. Well,
Which
what about the stranger? Why is he even
Sure.
there?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Why is Sam Elliott
he's the narrator in the beginning, and then suddenly he shows up in the bowling alley, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing there, dude?"
Yeah,
You know,
All right,
it's
So
very Kurt
just-
Vonnegut to me. Like he reminds
It's
me of
really
Kurt
funny.
Vonnegut, like putting himself into his novels or whatever. Yeah, like it's a God's eye view of like life, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
It's funny. I read some stuff about when they were making the movie. Apparently, Sam Elliott, did that scene a few times, and he was like, "Fellas, what am I missing?
what's my
here?
motivation?
Like, what am I doing something wrong?
Fellas.
What's up?" And they're like, "No, man, it's so good. We just love watching you do it." Like they had him doing the scene over and over because they just loved it.
He is iconic.
What
man.
was I asked you the first word of the film? What was the last word of the film?
Fellas.
Oh.
That's what I'm going
That's
with.
so. It's funny. It's Sam Elliott
the dude abides?
taking it easy for all us sinners out
Except
there.
yeah.
Is that it? Taking it easy? Well, that about does it. Wraps her all up. That
That sounds accurate.
yeah. Oh, catch you on down the trail.
That might be it.
Oh, is that it?
Watching you like mentally read through the
funny.
transcript of
It's
the
just bizarre.
entire movie in your head.
I've seen it. I really have. I've seen it so many times.
How many-
And it's funny when you're hanging out with a whole bunch of people that have seen it 100 times. Like everybody knows everything that's happening,
Yeah,
and it's still funny.
yeah.
I would feel like you would like if you watch it that many times. There's got to be like a drift, like where you perceive it differently after like the 50th time.
You start seeing different things.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, there's a scene where the dude and Maud have just had sex, and like we were watching it one night. My wife's like, "Whoa, stop the movie!" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Look, is that a wand in the background there? Like, there's a sex toy laying on the table that like we've never noticed before."
Yeah.
It was just like we just died. It was so funny.
I love it.
Like the placement of everything in the movie is just perfect.
It's like me in Arrested Development. Every time I ever watch it, I just
Yeah,
get
that's a
new
good one
joke.
for that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The answer to that question is sarsaparilla.
Oh, that's
because she
right.
asked him what'll you have to
Hey,
drink.
friend, you got another
Yeah.
sarsaparilla? That's awesome. You're right. Nailed it.
I didn't even write that one
So-
down. I just
So
knew
it's
that.
funny you mentioned sarsaparilla because I've been thinking about like I feel like I really want to make a non-alcoholic beer, and I know that's been a topic
Mhm.
around. But Fehr's used to make what I thought was a non-alcoholic beer, but I'm not sure now. But it'd be cool to make root beer or sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
or something like that. And I actually, there's a place I go camping up in Indiana. A friend of mine has a couple hundred acres, and I'm up there every fall. And he's got sassafras trees.
Yep.
and I've dug up chunks of root,
Ooh.
just wanting to boil it down and make root beer, and I just haven't done it yet.
I used to make a sassafras tea.
Oh yeah,
Whenever I went to like Dean Lake or something, the sassafras would be growing all around that area, and then I'd come back home with some chunks of twigs
and
and
it smells
sticks
so
and
good.
just throw it in
It does
hot
smell
water.
good.
when you're cutting the root out, it smells just like root beer.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's also a carcinogenic, so be careful.
I'm not going to drink that much of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe in nothing.
What was it? It was
Give me the
it was in
carcinogens.
root beer up until what, the 60s or something like that. And then they
They
said,
switched it
they
over
said,
to like, yeah.
They said it causes cancer in California, so
Yeah.
we had to go to artificial flavorings.
Yep.
Drew Johnson ruined the tastes of both root beer and mint for me because he pointed out the fact that was it what kind of mint? Wintergreen.
Wintergreen.
Wintergreen mint and root beer are the same flavor.
Man, don't say that.
What?
Yeah, it's the
Is it
same
true?
receptor. Like,
Get out of here.
You taste it the exact same way.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to experiment with
It's
this.
kind of like when people don't understand what ginger is.
Yeah.
And then they taste it and they're like, it's
Yeah.
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 Super fun.
I love ginger. Oh man.
I do too.
The pickled ginger, like sushi.
Oh.
That's
Plus,
the
not
great-
everybody likes it. So if you go out to somebody who hates
Oh.
it, you get theirs. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So when I was putting those questions together, I thought I'd stump you on at least one. I really didn't because that last one that was made up on
Come
the
on, but you
wasn't
it's
made
still-
up on the spot, but yeah.
You're right. You got me on that one.
I got you
Yeah.
on one, but geez, you came up with those quickly. You even,
Yeah, that was
you even got
impressive.
one answer before you even said it. So you do know your movie very well.
Me and David have
isn't
some
that
work
sad?
to do.
If you've never seen it before, or if you've only ever seen it once, you should go watch it again. It's always fun to go back and rewatch some movies that you've maybe already seen a couple times. And also it's nice to reread a book if you've read it a couple times too. And I think you brought a book for us tonight as well.
You know what? Kevin Gibson's book. Wait, not Kevin Gibson's book. One of Kevin Gibson's books. This used to be Louisville, and it's just it's just full of cool stuff. You drive around town and you see these old buildings, and you're like, man, that's probably been here a long time. I wonder what that was. Kevin has the answer. I'm like, it's in here, and it's so amazing to me.
He told us when he was on part of the process of that. It was like him going to U of L library and like just pulling out old papers and deeds and like figuring out filings and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's funny. It's to me, this is one of those things that it's not like you sit down and read it cover to cover. It's not a story, but
I have that book. I literally flip it open to a random page,
Right.
and then I just do that.
exactly.
Kevin, don't be offended by this, but it's a great bathroom book.
Oh no,
You know?
I think he's probably pleased to think about that. Yeah.
Well, he actually wrote a bathroom book, I think, too.
Well, it's funny because I've got this bookmark in here with this. Will the Prohibition era ice tower finally find new life?
Yeah. Trellis.
And that's where Trellis is going to be, and that was Frank Fehr Brewery number 2. The old ice house there.
I live about a block and a half away. I've been waiting for 5.5 years for that thing to be demolished, and then they're like, "We're gonna build it," and I was like, And then we went with Ryan. Michael and I went with Ryan and Kyle like through it a little bit.
Yeah.
We observed it
in Minecraft.
from
Lawyers.
the outside,
Yeah.
and they're like, "No, it's all structurally solid. Like the whole thing is like the some of the walls were like corkboard, but like it's a giant 12-story
Oh, yeah.
brick tower,
Well-
completely solid."
So the smaller building beside it was another brewery back in the teens that didn't survive.
Schaefer.
Was it Schaefer Meyer?
sounds
Schaefer
right.
Meyer, yeah.
Yeah. And to me that's fascinating. I mean, because Schaefer Meyer was pretty short lived, but it's amazing that that's there.
This is I just brought up photos from that day.
Where we observed the building from the outside.
Yeah, where we observed the building from the outside and definitely not the inside.
Oh yeah, of
because
course.
I'm showing photos of the outside right now.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, I am. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
This is just a world you guys built in Minecraft based on
Well,
what you thought it looked like.
So what's really amazing, and I'd heard from a couple of people they existed. On the outside lower corners of that building, there are big blank spots. There used to be big F's for Frank Fehr
Oh, wow.
in the corner of that building, and they still exist. And there's a guy that has them. It'd be cool to have.
He has the F's?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That
now,
guy
I don't-
Fs.
I can't imagine like how much that would cost to own,
Yeah.
but you know,
Probably less than you'd think.
I don't know. I got a random. It's funny. distracted, a squirrel. Just thinking about that.
You're on the right podcast.
Yeah, right. So I'm actually sitting with Kevin Gibson at Akasha one day, drinking at Fehr's, and I get a Facebook message, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, hey, we have Frank Fehr's desk. Would you like to buy it? And I'm thinking, what? How do you prove this is Frank Fehr's desk?
Yeah.
Like what? These people are. They saw that I own a brewery and they think I have a bunch of money.
I'm actually picturing the nihilists from Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
the ones
yeah.
like texting you.
We
with this.
have Bunny.
Yeah.
Bring $1 million. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's kind of like it was kind of. But I thought, I'd love to see what you have. Show me if you could send me some pictures. And they sent me a picture of this desk with a green linoleum top. Like 50s, 60s stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. If it's Frank's, it's Frank Jr. because Frank Sr. died, before the turn of the century. But on the desk is a Bible and a couple of photos of Frank Fehr and a bottle, and I see this little case with a medallion in it, and like I had never seen one of these medallions before. I had no idea what they looked like, but when I saw it, my heart started racing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I zoomed in, and I'm like, "I think this is a medal from the Southern Exposition."
Oh.
And the Southern Exposition, 1883 to 1888, Frank Fehr won best display of beer every year.
That's where Central Park is in
Right.
Louisville right now.
Right. It was kind of like a World's Fair. At one point, I think that was the largest wood structure in the
It
United
was
States.
also the first place that the commercial light bulb was.
Oh, that's
lit.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of history there. But I zoom in on this and I'm like, holy cow! And I walk over to Kevin. He's sitting across from me with a bunch of people sitting there, and I'm like, dude, look at this. And I zoomed in. I said, I think that's a Southern Exposition medal. And then we're both excited, like, holy cow! So I just sent the people a message. I'm like, what do you want for it? Like, I'll take it all. What do you want? And I went over and picked it up, and I got that medal. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then the Bible turned out to be the last Bible that Frank Fehr Jr. had that his wife had signed to him.
Wow.
So before he died. And then there was this random photo of Frank Fehr Jr. with some lady in the seal box. And on the back, it says, it'll take, was it $500 or something, or $1,000 to destroy this negative? It was a blackmail photo.
Was it Nancy Reagan?
I don't know, but I was just like, okay. And I got the story that these people's parents were friends with Frank Jr. and his wife. So when he died in the 60s, his wife called and said, hey, I'd like for you to have some of this stuff. So it was Frank Jr.'s last desk in his home office. And I have that at home. I mean, I use it at work now.
That's awesome.
And when Kevin was going to write a book, he had this great story about a murder that happened in Louisville years ago. And I was like, dude, you need to borrow my old desk to set at,
Yeah.
But
I'm picturing like fucking Kevin Gibson channeling the spirit of like murderers and.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But so, and at that point I had already loaned a few things to the Fraser. So the curator, I sent it, like once I got the medal in my hand, I took a picture of it and sent it to him. I'm like, hey guys, check this out. And I get a message back, holy shit, it's a fucking state treasure. And then they're like, oh wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I'm like that's okay. I said the same thing. And they're like, please tell us you're showing us this because you're gonna let us take it. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's why I'm showing you.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool. It's down at the Fraser and it's on display all the time. I love that. Yeah.
People in the past were just cooler than us.
Oh my gosh. Right?
Present company excluded, because I want to
come
be
on.
Jeff Fates when I grow up. You do so many fucking cool things. But man, the people in the past of like those crazy people, man, they were crazy. They just did nuts stuff all the time.
It's wild. And it's cool that somebody just hung on to that stuff. I mean, honestly.
I completely agree.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, those people without their telephones or
I'm saying.
Well, pretty soon we'll be able to tell the story of how we used to get Anchor beer in Indiana and Kentucky. And unfortunately, that is no longer the case because earlier this month, it was announced that Anchor Brewing out of California is going to end national distribution and kill the beloved Christmas ale that's become a tradition in my own household. Every year I get a new one. The press release says the news story says a historic groundbreaking California brewery is ending its national distribution and killing everyone's favorite holiday brew. Christmas is canceled. Anchor Brewing Company, which has roots in the California Gold Rush era, will no longer produce its portfolio of beers for sale outside of the state. Anchor Brewing spokesperson Sam Singer explained that the company is focusing on the California market because it accounts for 70% of its sales. Still, Singer said it was a difficult decision based on challenging economic realities the company has faced for years. The inflationary impact of product costs in San Francisco is one factor, Singer said. Couple that with a highly competitive craft beer market and historically costly steam brewing technique. They've probably been mulling over this decision for a year. It's not something they take lightly. They will no longer make its iconic holiday beer, Christmas Ale. The spice-laden winter warmer has been a brewing tradition since 1975 and something that Northern California beer lovers look forward to every November. Also, people in Kentucky. Singer said costly brewing practices, whatever, yada, yada, yada. It's just sad all around.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, I think about Anchor, and I have two things come to mind is Anchor. Well, three things: Anchor Steam,
Yep.
Anchor Porter,
Yep.
And then Christmas Ale. And yeah, maybe I only buy each one once a year.
Yeah, same here.
But it's still just always nice to have that as an old faithful go-to.
It's a classic, and I will say I know one liquor barn manager that
Todd Ferris has been on the podcast.
it's not him,
Oh, okay.
but they had a customer order over 12 cases of it
Of the Christmas Ale?
to
Wow.
hoard and then
Wow.
keep for later. I'm sure it'll go bad before anyone drinks 12 cases. And there's only so many Christmases you can have, but
Well, so I mean, the whole thing with the Christmas Ale is that it was a different style or different recipe and different label every year too.
Mhm.
So it was just like, oh, what are they going to do this year? So it was
Yeah.
always just like, what is this beer going to be like? And I buy a 6-pack probably once a year just because it was something to have around the house. I think I have like 3 bottles left, so that means I enjoyed 3 during Christmas time. And when I heard the news, I was like, well, we have to drink that on the podcast, so I did want to share it. But what are y'all's thoughts on this tragedy? Because I'm going to call it a tragedy.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about the Kentucky Common. I mean, Anchor Liberty was the not Anchor Liberty, but Anchor Steam Beer was the California Common, and it was defining for American craft. I mean, there's 2 native styles of beer. One's Kentucky Common, one was Anchor Liberty, or one. I keep saying that Anchor Steam Beer. Did you have something, Jeff?
No, I was going to say exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just the only 2 unique styles in the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was I always forget this guy's name. The washing machine
Maytag.
Fritz Maytag.
Yeah.
Was a goddamn visionary, and not only in the washing machine industry and manufacturing in general, but he kind of brought that industrial mindset to American beer, and it was something that didn't just get made like in the neighborhood pub to be scooped up by the kid with the growler. It was something he learned how to mass produce, how to package, and then how to ship, which, I mean, in my opinion, completely changed the economic landscape of what beer was, from being something more local to something that was more of a distributed commodity. So shout outs to Anchor. I actually did not know until this that they had sold to, do you guys remember
Sapporo.
Sapporo. Do you remember when that
Sapporo.
happened?
It's been
few years.
2015.
Okay,
I don't
so
know,
I'm
2015?
behind the times.
I'm actually
But,
not sure.
70% of their sales in California. Is that what he said?
Yep.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think
For a
about,
nationally distributed beer.
and then what's it cost for them to ship it out? I mean,
probably quite a bit.
You can understand from a business
absolutely can.
business point of view, but yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Maybe this will go the way of when Anheuser bought that craft portfolio.
Mhm.
They're now selling them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appalachian Mountain and like North Carolina got their brand back for they sold out, so knock on them, but they bought it back. So I think it's funny when like companies like Sapporo and Anheuser-Busch are like, we're going to buy craft beer. We're going to make a lot of money. And then they
Yeah.
realize there is no money in
Yeah,
craft
make
beer.
any
We are
money.
getting rid of this.
And something else is, I mean, you got to think there's a chance that could change in the future.
Mhm.
And what I'm reminded of immediately is Ska Brewery. Not that we could get it here, but one of my favorite beers from those guys out in Durango, Colorado, is called Modus Operandi, and I love Modus Operandi.
beer.
And whenever I was I'm wearing a shirt from this place called the Anchor in Wichita, and with work, I was going to Wichita a few weeks a year, and like I'd walk into the Anchor, and they're like, "Hey Jeff, the usual." Like it was that bad, you know.
Is ska brewing like a ska actual bar? Like,
Well, that's the impression I get.
It's keeping it beep pop.
You know, it's funny. That's the name, but I don't know about that. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. Ska is like anyway.
Yeah, but it's a great beer. But they
This is
stopped.
what you tune in for, folks.
You know, they said the same thing. They're like, "Hey, we're going to stop distributing. We're only going to sell out of the tap room." Totally went away for a couple of years, and then last year I'm sitting in the Anchor, and they're like, "Hey, dude, we got Modus back." I'm like, "Hell yeah," you know. And it's like
Praise
it
the
just
Lord.
kind of quietly came back, you know. So maybe they're not distributing very far, but
Oh,
you know
right,
they're
I
getting
get
back into it.
Well, let's try this maybe for the last time, or
Yeah,
at least
cheers,
as we know
guys.
it now.
Thanks
so.
for sharing, man.
Yeah, Christmas is canceled.
Christmas is canceled.
Santa Claus is dead.
It's great. There's a little bit of piney note in there. There's a little bit of a nutmeg thing that comes through. It's dark, it's malty, it's roasty, but it's not sweet too much. It's just light caramel, a little bit of Tootsie Roll. It's
This
great.
doesn't need to be for winter. I mean, this tastes great right now.
Yeah,
What did they all say? Christmas in July? We're close enough.
Yeah, we're close enough. I've always hated how they do this label though, because you have to like turn to read it. So this is the 48th special ale from the brewers at Anchor. This ale, made with natural flavors, features a new recipe and tree every year, but the intent with which we offer it is the same: joy and celebration of the newness of life. Trees symbolize the winter solstice, when the earth with its seasons appears born anew. Mary Ellen Pleasant. Should we know who that is?
I don't think so. She's probably like a botanist or something.
Okay. Mary Ellen Pleasant planted blue gum trees in front of her San Francisco home in the 1800s. The home is long gone, but her landmark trees remain. Oh, I do know who this is. Shit. A living tribute to the mother of civil rights in California.
Okay. Very cool.
If anyone's on YouTube watching Michael twist that bottle back and forth reading it was really kind
It
of
looks like
mesmerizing.
what David does with the bottle before he opens it if it's sour.
Well, so there's also this
handling
there's
technique.
also this giant like logo right down in the middle of the text. So like I'm making sure the line that I just read is the same line that I had before.
No, that's why they got bought, because they're
This is why
crafty.
this is why
Yeah, they're crafty.
Give it 1 star or
Yeah.
1 star on Untapped. Can't read the label.
Yeah.
And I don't like Christmas ales, but
Also,
here I am.
can't read, so
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, y'all.
Likewise. Yeah. Well, it was good while it lasted, right? I do like the keeping track of all the seasonal releases and stuff like that. It's always fun. And this is just another one to not look forward to anymore.
And some quick Louisville news before we wrap up tonight. Country Boy from Lexington opened up a tap room at Omni Hotel recently. They've already had the soft opening. They've been open for a couple weeks now, but they're going to have their grand opening tomorrow.
Beer, pizza, barbecue. They got it all going on down there.
Yep. And we have an episode with Pete Weiss.
Yep. You guys
if you
can go
want
back
to
and
learn
listen
more
to that
about
one.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. Happy for them. There are some Country Boy beers that they otherwise don't really distribute here, so did get to try some new things when I stopped by there for the first time. Really happy for them. It's gonna be good. I think they'll kill it.
The food also looked amazing.
Yeah, I didn't
Look
get
at
any of the
that.
food yet.
Yeah.
There are rumblings of a new brewery in town.
This one's kind of a weird story, and who knows if it's going to actually ever go anywhere. But it's Hopatomica, which is based out of Savannah, is going to be opening a tap room in Louisville, but it's unclear if it's them branching out or if it's a franchise kind of deal or just a licensing deal. So anyway, it's allegedly going to be in the old Germantown social spot over the Germantown Mill Lofts off Goss, which had been Cuvillion in the past.
Cuvion.
Thank you. Cuvillion's awesome. Cuvillion's closed. Which it was actually pretty good too.
Germantown Social,
Germantown
Cuvion. What was the other one?
That's what I was trying to think of. There was one more in that spot. So anyway, it's kind of a cursed location, unfortunately. So we'll see.
Somebody's got to break that streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait and see.
I mean, listen, if they open up, I think they would become slightly closer to my house than Monica's, so it would be the closest brewery to me.
It'd be hard for me to go there over Monic, but I'll give him a chance.
Yeah, of course.
I'll give him a chance.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. Have you heard anything about this yet? Hopatomica?
No, not at all. This is news to me.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Welcome to the news.
We're the ones drinking and doing the news,
Yeah,
ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
us.
It's always fair weather when you
good fellows get
Louisville
together.
news. Yeah. That's our jingle.
Perfect.
Well, that we started saying that we should have more jingles,
Yeah.
and kind of working on it. So, other news: Mile Wide Hops on the Hill is coming back. That is a one-day festival that they do out there. They collaborate with breweries from the regional area to sometimes make special beers all together, and then kind of showcase them when they come in town for the big day. It's always a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's a great event.
But they did just announce the 3 breweries that they're pairing with this year. Normally, I'll say these skew towards St. Louis or Nashville. We're keeping it regional, though. We do have one St. Louis brewery. If you know anything about Mile Wide, there's a couple employees that used to work at Schlafly, so St. Louis near and dear to their heart. And I can only imagine that's why they are partnering with Four Hands Brewing.
Oh, nice.
Excellent brewery. It's like down by the arch on the river. They have like an upstairs room full of like skee ball and some like cool like basketball shoot games, but also their tap room like has food, good little classic St. Louis style citywide pills, great beer. The next one that they're collaborating with is Streetside. That's in Cincinnati. That's a great brewery too. They really were on that cusp of pushing those boundaries with like the heavy fruit type deal and big stouts. They've also had a fairly, in my opinion, like great barrel program. And then the third partner that they're doing is Dissolver out of Asheville, which I've never been to.
Dissolver's great. Those are 3 exciting partners.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really stretching their legs, going west, east, and north. So.
Bringing everybody together on the hill.
It's a great festival. And I know the last few years we've gone right after another festival in town that we work at, and then just go right over to. I think last year they said that it was a record day for them, record single day. So hopefully they beat that record this year. Mile Wide's always really fun to go to, and especially like they do events, like they kill events. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It is on August 5th.
This sounds right.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Which means I'll probably forget to put it in the show notes.
Yeah, let's say August 5th.
I'm sure the collab is going to be an IPA, but
Yeah.
I'm just holding that. That's like my prediction. So if you guys like happen to maybe do something else, that'd be cool. But
Give us a few
I already
variants.
kind of know.
I like the spirit of the collaboration. That's my favorite thing about this. And you know, we try to promote that in Ale Trail, and like we do collabs and Beer Week. We partner up Louisville breweries with collabs, but it's cool to see Louisville breweries, and certainly they're not the first to do this, but it's the central theme of the event is reaching out outside of Louisville to kind of partner with people that they feel kinship with in other markets. So
But
I think that's super cool.
For Louisville Beer Week, though, coming up in October, we are going to announce the collab pairings here on the podcast.
You'll hear it here first.
You'll hear it here
folks.
first from the horse or jackass, probably me.
You might wear the
Mal.
horse.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to wear the horse's mask.
The
for
horse's
that one
mask,
again.
yeah. But we'll have it.
It'll be fun. Also, Kentucky State Beer Fest.
Kentucky State Beer Fest.
First time ever, inaugural.
First Saturday of Kentucky State Fair. There'll be a big old tent full of 25 breweries from around the state. So expect to see some people that you've never seen before, some people that you're familiar with, but overall have a great showcase of the state and kind of highlight, we focus a lot on Louisville, but we also bring a lot of people in from out. So I think it'll be a good opportunity to just kind of expose more of Kentucky to more of what Kentucky has, if that makes sense.
You can see the best pie made in Kentucky, but you can't drink the best beer made in Kentucky at the state fair. Now you can.
Will they have corn dog pairings?
Ooh.
Funnel cakes.
So
I'm writing that down.
no. So you're already, and that was serendipitous, but the kind of ask for this, which not all of them know yet, but here we go.
You heard it here first.
Is that for the fair, the venues team that we were working with kind of like asked like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have like a pineapple whip to go with the pineapple whip beer and have some like fair inspired food? So will there be a corn dog beer?
That depends on if
I
somebody
mean,
wants to do
I'm
one.
picturing like a beer battered corn dog personally. So
yeah.
like the partnership can go both ways.
Oh yeah, no, the theming is off of fair food,
Yeah.
so that'd be really cool if that works out. Because like someone can make a donut burger beer, I'm buying. I'm buying.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and if you have your bucket of beer and you go to the state fair to bring it back, you can dip your corn dog into the beer and just enjoy it that way.
Dude, suddenly I'm thinking about a porter with powdered sugar sprinkled on it like a funnel cake.
Or an elephant ear, like a raspberry, like.
Yeah.
You guys got me on TikTok, and I've been posting our content there, and they make you stay on the homepage while it uploads. So I've been seeing a few TikToks, and there was the one viral one was a guy at a baseball game with a glizzy with a little.
Oh man, you are really deep into TikTok. You're calling them glizzies now.
This
And
is the
he had
one
to
where he
take a
sticks the straw
through it to
yeah.
turn the hot dog into a straw, and then he drinks his beer through the glizzy.
I have not seen that one.
Yeah, I sent
So,
that
pro
to a
moves.
few friends.
Really?
and one of them just said this made me ill.
I'm
So-
so hip.
I would do that right now if I had a hot dog. So maybe
Also,
I-
good on you for using the app that you're pushing our content through.
TikTok. What's it called?
TikTok.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun. I'm really excited for that. I know it's coming up actually pretty soon on August 29th. Jeff, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What do you have coming up that you want people to know about?
Well, Cheever Fest is this weekend, bowling and beer and stuff. And maybe there'll be some leftover fares there for you guys on Monday night.
Yeah, I'll come drink that up.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm always playing music. I need to go sailing.
I actually will jump in. You're a great Instagram follow. You should,
Really?
Yeah. So we didn't even touch on the goddamn airplanes, the goddamn sailboats, like every other You're
Hey, you know the name of my sailboat?
I do, but I can't
Fair
remember.
Weather.
That's right.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
What's your Instagram handle? If you want to share, you don't have to.
Oh, J Faith Bass.
Yeah.
BAS. Yeah.
Excellent.
Because I play
follow.
bass. Yeah, go figure.
I wish your boat was named Goddamn Airplane.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you there,
that's
but
fine.
yeah. And the name of the bands that around town, any like stuff you want to shout out there?
I'm in way too many. Little band, dozens of
Jam.
dollars. Bridge 19. I play with Bernie Lubbers from Heaven Hill, which is fun. We play a lot of distilleries. That's awesome. The Dudes Band, playing this weekend. I do a lot of studio work. I don't know. I play with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Playing with a guy named Phil.
Colin.
Phil Collins. No, he stopped touring. Phil Ragland. It's Solus Tecas, the Mexican place, here in about a week. And it's kind of a flashback because 15, 16 years ago, my wife and I used to play there every Monday night.
Wow.
And then one Monday was Cinco de Mayo. I maybe had a few too many margaritas
Is that the fifth
during
amendment?
the mariachi band, and my wife was worried we wouldn't get to play there next week when the manager found me in the bathroom. And then we rolled in the next week, and Luis is like, "Hey, margarita." I'm like, "Yeah."
That's great.
So just keep going. But yeah, it's fun, man. I
Jeff Faith abides.
Jeff Faith abides.
yeah.
Yeah.
John, what do you got?
I was gonna plug something different, but I'm gonna plug the World's Fair.
Is that still a thing?
I mean, it's like the
does it
Southern
exist?
No, it's like, why not? Everything back then, like, we actually had big dreams, and we weren't afraid of being cliche and weird. We
The
just
world
didn't
is
even know what those
unfair
are.
now.
It's unfair.
It's unfair.
Yeah, that's a great tagline.
That's why we don't have it.
Yeah. But I don't know. You go to like Chicago, you can see like the old grounds where they would do the stuff, and some of the structures are still in place and incredible. You go to like Nashville, you can tour the Nashville Parthenon. They built, I think, a scale model of the Parthenon down there, and it's full of a whole museum about what the exposition there looked like during their World's Fair. We should do some World's Fairs.
And the stupid little globe in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Stupid. Whatever. Yeah, let's bring it back. I don't care.
It's cool. It just highlighted the dream of like what humanity could do if we ever got our shit together.
Yeah, I hate it. Like every time I drive past Cape Canaveral and there's that big fucking rocket.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, let's World's Fair in Louisville. The fair's something beer and humanity con coming in a couple years, sponsored by Louisville Electro.
Yeah. We don't have enough projects going on. We should definitely
Yeah,
take
we
that
should
on.
do- yeah,
let's
that's like
just
a
let's
easy-
start a world fair.
Yeah, that sounds
Oh
easy.
man.
So anyway, yeah, that's my shout out.
David, what do you got?
I'm gonna shout out Peaches. They come from a can. They were put there by a man
In a factory?
in a factory.
How many of them?
There's a
You
lot
got
of-
You got
Millions? Oh,
Man, I got this other. Do you guys like cigars?
Yeah, we do now.
Okay, but what's the point of like smoking a cigar?
It's just to make cigarettes per Madeline.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's this old historic brand that I know I could get. I just been thinking about it a lot lately, along with the bees, and the boats and airplanes.
Just really big in cigars and bees and boats and submarines. Just
What
don't,
you got, Michael?
don't go on a submarine.
You need a
anytime
hobby.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll plug hobbies. No, I plug boat bars. Yeah, like if you can get on a boat and go to a bar, that
So-
exists.
Man, my boat is in a marina called Limestone Bay, and there used to be a Bear Nose Pizza there.
Ooh.
Now I Heart Tacos or I Love Tacos is coming in, and they're apparently going to sell gallons of margaritas, and they're going to have an app that you can set in your boat, send them a text, and go, "Hey, bring me a couple of tacos and a gallon of margaritas,"
Holy shit.
and they're going to deliver it to the boat.
And then they dip the taco in the gallon of
I'm
margarita
just
on their way.
going to live on my boat after that.
Yeah.
Blame me, I do
I
too.
mean, all you need is wind, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I can't wait!
Yeah,
And it's like any day now.
yeah, that'll be great. So see you there.
Port to starboard.
Let's go sailing.
Let's go sailing.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Come
cohibas.
sail away. Yeah, I'll just plug the podcast and YouTube channel again. If you're not following us on YouTube, subscribing, please do so. Louisville Ale Trail, because that would be helpful.
It's been blowing up. If you guys aren't there, you're square.
It actually has been blowing up.
Yeah.
And if you continue to use phrases like "you're square," then we'll stop blowing up. So
It's Louisville Ale Trail. You heard it here first. News of the week. Donuts.
To quench your
and
thirst.
Yeah. Okay, David got it. Thank you.
David's
Thank you.
the songwriter. So, thanks everybody. Have a great week.